Oh, look, and we are live today, everybody. We are live. It's a little bit overcast because, whoo, I think all hell broke loose last night for the rain and the hail. Listen, it was so bad. We got this emergency alert on our phones at 7:45 p.m. And so now everybody's talking about all the hail damage. And I will say, I don't have any. Not a lick of it. So, uh, yeah, right? I'm pleased. So, today is lighten up. What do I mean by lighten up? Well, we live in a world where everything is so serious. I want you to see if you notice this, or perhaps it's just me. I was gonna talk about it on its own, but the reason I'll talk about it here is because I'm saying to lighten up, but I understand why we feel like we don't lighten up. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but everything is monetized. Absolutely everything has been monetized. Everything. You've got influencers with their little kids online, and kids are doing stuff online and they're monetized. Now, this is part of the reason why we can't lighten up, because it's not that we can't lighten up. We can and we shall. But the reasoning behind it is, if you look at it, there's three categories. Either you're looking at getting money, maximizing your money, or holding on to your money. Those three categories. If you know more, drop it in the chat and let me know. But those are the three ways. And so, because we are so focused on monetizing absolutely everything, I want you to notice something. We've spent so much time monetizing ourselves. We put ourselves into voluntary slavery. Hmm? I, Listen, it's just an observation. It's just an observation. I'm not saying yay or nay one way or the other, but what I'm making of this observation is, if you look at people and why they do what they do, it is the money. Uh-uh. I'm I'm telling you. This was brought to my attention because I was speaking with someone, and she says, Angela, whenever I talk to you, I don't ever hear you asking for money. She's like, I don't hear you saying to people, well, you're gonna have to pay me for this, or I'm giving this to you for free. She's like, you don't mention it. She says, if you're putting on a workshop and you say you're charging you, that's different, because that's what you say. She goes, but you go places and they're like, this is for free, and then they try and upsell you. And I was like, well, if you look at it, we have to pay our bills, because people always ask, why, quote unquote, why is spirituality for sale? It's not that spirituality is for sale. It's that we gotta pay our bills, right? That's what it is. And so every facet of our lives has been monetized. And because every facet of our lives has been monetized, all of our ideas do what? Focus on getting money in some way, shape, fashion, or form. And I was looking around, and oddly enough, if you seek, you shall find, right? And I'm looking around and I'm like, holy macaroni, that is so true. Now, is it true because I'm looking for it? Right? So I find it to be very interesting when we say, well, lighten up. Lighten up. I'm trying to say to us, take a load off. Meaning, it's like if we now choose to walk in a state of everything is taken care of, so I don't have to fret, I don't have to organize my thoughts around money, everything is fine. Where do I want to put my thoughts instead? Because if I don't have to fret and worry about money, what else would I be doing? Where would my other ideas be coming from? So to lighten up, literally, put our thoughts elsewhere, right? Everything right now is technically speaking focused on our survival in this world. Not everybody, because not everybody's thinking about survival, right? But if we notice, that's what's happening. And I'm not a fan of it at all. Because if you're not busy worrying about how to be creative in your self monetization, what else would you be doing? I've seen that question before. People ask you, if money was no object, what would you be doing? And most people would not be doing what they're presently doing. So then you begin to see the kind of state, the mental state you're in. So how do we lighten up? You see, everybody's looking for security. We're looking for security. But what if we generated security? What if we did that instead? To generate security? What does that mean? You know how we say, well, I need some confidence, I need some courage. All those things are, we learned a word last night at the lecture, attributes, right? But what if they weren't attributes? What if they were what we were already? Secure, confident, courageous. What if that's who we were instead of what we were trying to create? You see, we create things, experiences, but what if security wasn't something to create? What if it was just who you were? You were secure. What if you were security already? So if you're secure already on the inside, remember the principle of correspondence. As within, so without. So if you're secure within, then whatever you experience on the outside will show you, by way of your experience, your harvest, what you are on the inside. So how does one foster security within themselves? With this knowledge: things will wither and die. Things. The car needs to be replaced. The siding needs to be replaced. All those things externally need to be replaced. But security is not a thing that waxes and wanes like the moon. Security is not a thing that waxes and wanes by the moon. It's not. Security is your state of mind. And it's a state of mind that you can pop into or pop out of, depending on what you require at the time. But security, because I know I've always said, when I feel insecure, I will say to myself in my head, security, because that's what I'm calling, right? But what if I am security? And the reason what got me thinking about that was last night's lecture, where it says that God perfected his love within us. So if God is love and God is within us, that means we are already love, because he is already, he's not the attribute of love, which means love did not cause God to come into being. An attribute would be something you attribute as the cause of something happening. So security is not the cause of something. You are security itself. Because remember, you are the cause. You are the cause. Because you're creating effects. So if you and I walk with now the new mentality or the new thought that, wait, I am the cause. So if I am the cause, I must already be it. Because you want to have the effect of security on the outside. So if you want to have the security effect on the outside, you must already be secure on the inside. You must already be secure, which would mean you are security. It's not something you pick up like rocks at the lake. But because we don't know that we are security itself, and it's just like the lecture, we don't know that we're love itself either. We think that love is something we generate or we foster, but no, love is what you already are. And because love is what we already are, then security must also be what we already are. So if we walk around in a mental mood or state or mental attitude of security, now what I wanted to say about security is, because remember, things come and go. So if you are secure in the thing that you have, if you lose the thing, you lose security. If the thing makes you secure. So if money makes you secure, if health makes you secure, if relationships make you secure, if those things leaves, then you are in a state of insecurity. However, if you are security itself, it doesn't matter what comes and goes, because your security is not built upon things. You are secure. You are security itself. So wherever you are, their security is. And I was like, oh, well, that makes more sense to me. That makes me feel lighter already. This is what I was saying to myself when I was thinking of lighten up. Because we have been taught to put so much stock in things. Didn't Bob Marley say, somebody said it, where they say that we value things, but we use people. Something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing, but I'm sure that's what I've heard. Because if you think about it, people say, well, if I ever lost you, whatever would I do? Because your security is put into something that is fallible. You put your security into something that is finite. It has a beginning and an end. But you and I have no beginning and no end because we are God itself. So if you're God itself with no beginning and no end, when you say, let there be, you can say, let there be, because you are security itself. You're the cause. So you can bring about any effect, because you can mold and shape yourself into any cause. So if you put yourself into the shape, mold yourself into the shape of security, wherever you are secure, which means you no longer have to fret and worry about, give us this day our daily bread. Because it also tells you, if I were hungry, I wouldn't ask you, because the whole world is what I can use to feed myself. Do you know the kind of security that requires that? To know that you can call those things that are not as though they were and they become. One does not need security. One is secure or insecure. So, to lighten up today, to help us to lighten up, because as I say, we've been taught to chase. Oh, I must get this. I must acquire that. Must maintain this. And this is why the scripture exists that says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. All these things, which is telling you the kingdom is not a thing. The kingdom is what you are. It would have to be what you are. It's within you. So if it's in you, it's who you are. So why seek it? Because the thing on the inside is infinite. It is infallible. It is the thing on the inside does not require the exterior for its existence. Because the thing on the inside, the infinite on the inside, gives life. Wherever it goes, there is life. So that would mean you and I are security itself. So instead of having to fret and worry about how to obtain something, you don't have to worry about obtaining anything, because as long as you walk as yourself, as your secure self, whatever is required, you will see it on the outside. Because as within, so without. As a man thinketh, therefore he is. So if you say, well, I am security itself, and wherever I go, I see the evidence of my security, then you can relinquish things. This is what the Buddhists truly meant when they say to detach. It doesn't mean to not have a desire. That's not what it means. It doesn't mean not to have a desire. It means you are the desire. You are desire itself. That's what you are. This is why we're constantly growing and moving, because that is the nature of desire. Once it is fulfilled, the expansion has happened and we've learned and grown. So today, we got to lighten up. But the way to lighten up is to know what you are. If you know what you are, then you don't give your power to the external. The external has no life. It is you who gives life to the external. So if you are the cause of life, then the experience of life can only be the mirror of what you already are, of what I already am. Now, there's a difference between being delusional, because if you notice, when you want something, you will have one of two feelings in your body. You will either feel that it is true, or you will feel that it is false. You will either feel that it is true, what you want, you'll feel it's possible, or you'll feel that it is impossible. Those are the two sensations you'll have in your body. So when you say, well, I want this, but I don't know, that seems kind of far-fetched. I don't even know if I have the connections to get that. I don't even know if I have the people to get that. Like, I don't know. So when you say, well, I don't know if that's possible, your imagination takes over and shows you why it is not possible. And you begin to experience in imagination what you experience in reality. And you begin to see the impossibility of it, and thus you live out the impossibility of it. But if you say, well, yes, this is possible, your imagination will start to show you all of the possibilities. You see, I know for the longest time we have felt, when Neville says experience in imagination what you would experience in reality. Where we get caught up is we think we have to come up with the imaginal act. Don't worry, I thought so too. But we don't. The imaginal act happens as a result of the thought. The imaginal act happens as a result of what you think about the thing you want to experience. If you think it is possible, you'll see the possibilities. If you think it is impossible, you will see the impossibilities. Just like if you see somebody that you don't like, or you hear the name of somebody that you don't like, automatically you will start to cuss them out in your mind. It just happens automatically. It happens naturally because it is what you believe. So, security. How does one recognize that they are security itself? Well, you've got to come to terms with the fact that you're God. You've got to come to terms with that. Not in the way the world does. See, they have this bastardized version of what they call God. Right? You know, people say, well, I'm a God. There's a difference from recognizing that when you look at your hand and you turn it around and you look at the palms and you turn it back again, you're turning your hand palmar and supine, right? So dorsal and supine. When you supine is when you turn the hand up, your palm is up, and you want somebody please. So the palm is supine, so you can feel it. And on the other side, that's the dorsal side, okay? So when you are flipping the hand over and you're looking at it, we take that for granted. Good morning, handsome. We take it for granted that we turn the hand over and back. We take for granted that we walk and we talk. We take that for granted because we've been doing it our whole lives. But have we been? We've been powered to do it. We have been powered to do it, to walk and to talk, to eat and to drink and to digest and rest. We've been powered to do those things. We don't actually do them. We're powered to do them. What do I mean by we're powered to do them? Because when we did, the body stops. So if the body stops when you're dead, well, then the thing that is in you, that is, quote unquote, the power and the glory of God. But not God in the sense of what we've been taught to believe as the external. In order to animate something, child, you got to take your face away from the wall. You are not Hezekiah. Sorry. He's got his face right at the wall as he sings. That's better. But in order to animate something, you have to put life in it. Okay? So that it can move itself. You put the life in it. If you look at a marionette and they have the strings on the outside, that's how we're living our lives. Because we do not know that we are the animating power itself. So when you now begin to recognize that you are the animating power of life itself, now you can understand what security is. Because you are security. You do not require security on the outside. You create the security because you are it. This is, when I tell you, I know it's hard to get your head around. I know it is, because I've had a good couple decades of thinking that life is happening to me from the outside. Life does not happen from the outside. You might want to debate me on that one, and I would tell you, please don't, because I'm not a debater. But what I will say to you, go outside. And when you plant a seed, tell me where the life of the seed is. Inside the seed. So life has to come from the inside out. Which means you are the life giver. You are the animator. The animator and the animated are one. Because to see the evidence of what is animated, you have to know that there's something on the inside to animate it. So today, as you go through the day, keep that in the back of your mind. Wait, I am the life giver? Yes, I am the life giver. Even William Blake said it. Where man is not, it is barren. Barren means no life, right? No life can come forth if it's barren. So if no life can come forth without man, what does that make man? The life giver. So that must mean man is more than man. So here we are in this world, in this life, chasing and chasing and chasing. That's what we're doing day in and day out. We're always looking for something better, looking for something easier. We are looking for it, be it. Because even in scripture, whether you believe it or not, it has nothing to do with belief. It has to do with the fact of you can do what's being said there. When, quote unquote, God said, let there be light, and there was, how could he could only recreate what he already was? He could only recreate what he already is. This is why he said, let every seed bring forth fruit after its own kind. The law of correspondence, as within, so without. He can only tell you what he's already doing. He's telling you, I am light. That's why I called it. I can only call forth what I already am. So you can only experience what you already are. So how do you convince yourself of that? Because that's what's going to happen. You're going to have to convince yourself that you are it. Because you've already been convinced that you're something else. We've been convinced that we're just these lowly little creatures, and we are born and we die. That's what we have been convinced that we are. And because we've been convinced of that, we behave like it. This is why people do what they do. When we get into a particular mental mood, mental attitude, mental state, we can only act according to the state. You embody that state. So that means you have to give it life, the state, because it's just there. It's just inanimate. How do you know? We've all been to funerals. And that body is just laying there. There's no life within it anymore. where did the life go? Because life does not end. So if it's not in the body, now it still remains. It is formless and shapeless. It still remains. So you see, everything on the exterior is waiting for us to give it life. People tell you, like with crypto has its value based upon the people, right? Just like the dollar has to have gold behind it to give it life, or else it's just lifeless, it's just dead. So it's telling you that something must always be powering things on the outside. That is you, and that would be me. So it doesn't matter. You look around it and you'll see. The car is not going to drive itself. People say, oh my God, all these houses, they're empty. You know why they're falling apart? Because nobody lives in them. You and I are the animating factor. The house, they can tell you on paper is worth $500,000, $600,000. On paper, that's what it is worth because it's building materials. But when you put the life of the family in it, when you live in it, that is the value of the house because you're the life giver. So if you are the life giver and things fall apart because you aren't in it, the car is not going to drive itself. You have to get in and animate it. So then, why do we continually chase things that are dead? We have to understand that we bring life to wherever we are. Because we are life itself. Not that we bring the life, but we are life because we're only bringing ourselves. So now scripture begins to make sense when you hear, for God so loved the world that he gave his only. The only thing you can give is yourself. And this is making more and more sense to me every single day. So if you can only give to yourself, that must mean you are it already. So which means we can lighten up because the burden has been lifted from you. You no longer have to chase things because as you sow, that's what you will reap. So what are you? Are you security? What does security look like? Because right now it's a word. But what does it personify? It means you can pay your bills in full and on time. It means you can purchase whatever you require. It means you can look after your family. It means you are healthy. It means you can think. It means you can walk and talk. That's security. Not just safety, eh? That's only part of security. But all of those things that you can name from the umbrella of security, so long as you are security itself internally, those are the secure things you will experience on the outside. So that means I don't have to worry because where I am, scripture tells you that you may be in my father's house are many mansions, that where I am, there ye may be also. So where I am is security. So then, if you are secure, then security exists. If you are insecure, security does not exist. So to get your head around that, just look around you. The evidence is there. that nothing occurs on the outside unless it has first been given life by the person, the thing. That dress can sit on the mannequin for months, but let somebody put that dress on. And now you will see the true beauty of the dress because there's life in the dress. There's not a woman in the dress. There's life in the dress. So if there's life in the dress in the form of a woman, see, it's the form of the woman. So what is the formless of the woman? Life. So you see how you are life now? You don't become life. You are life itself. And you can only give yourself two things. So that would mean wherever you are, what type of life were you bringing? The only one that you say you are. I am, right? What do you say I am is? I am is security. So then that means you no longer have to chase. Because whatever ideas, remember, the state fulfills itself. Just like the watermelon. You plant that watermelon seed. Let me know when you get turnips. Because it ain't going to happen. You can only get watermelon. So if you are security itself, whatever ideas you get will match security. If you are insecure, whatever experiences and ideas you get will show you your insecurities. Remember, formless to form. We're the form, but we are animated by formless. So we are formless. So in order to experience the formless, it must have form for us, right where we are. So today, what are you? What type of life are you? You see, because if we would walk with that understanding, if we would walk with that understanding that we are life and would decide what type of life we take with us everywhere we go, I'm sure we'd have less of the unsavory things because then we would know we are the ones doing it. Well, we would know we were the ones bringing that type of life. So today, what type of life are you? How did you condition your life? And the good news is this. See the law of rhythm? It is neither friend nor foe, but it tells you how to use it. Rhythm tells you there's a pattern of behavior. And when you see the pattern of behavior, you will know exactly what is happening from that pattern. You now have a pattern. You have a pattern of behavior. That pattern of behavior is influenced because of who you say you are. So as long as you change who you say you are, your pattern of behavior will follow. It has to follow. That's why you'll know them by their fruit. The fruit is the pattern. How do you think you know it's an apple? Because apples are only in that particular way. It doesn't matter if it's a Spartan, it's a Macintosh, it's a Red Delicious, if it's a Fuji, it doesn't matter. Golden Delicious, they're all apples. Because apples have a pattern. Cherries have a pattern. Red cherries, Renier cherries, or Rainer cherries, choke cherries, they're all cherries. So that's how you know, because of the pattern of the cherry. So what pattern, what fruit are you seeing in your life? Is it one of worry? Then change the pattern by changing who you say you are on the inside. So if you say, I am security, security is peace of mind, y'all. Because insecurity means you worrying at every corner. Oh, do they like me? Am I going to make any friends? Am I going to have enough of this? Am I going to have enough of that? Ooh, worry, isn't it? But if you are secure, you have peace of mind. So what does peace of mind feel like? Feels like no constipation, I'll tell you that. Why? Because if your thoughts are uptight, so must your bowels be. Oh, you think I'm trying to be cute? As within, so without. You're all in knots with worry, so must the bowels be. I keep telling you, the body is just showing you what you're thinking every day. Day in and day out. We're doing it, right? So then that means we've got to practice peace of mind. Practice it till you know what it feels like. Because when you know what it feels like, as Neville says, it takes on the tones of reality. When you know what it feels like, now you can identify it and say, that is security right there. That's it. There you go. And you are it. But if you don't know what it feels like, if you don't know what you feel like, this is all they're telling you. Know thyself. Something, something ipsum. The Latin, know thyself. To know yourself, you got to do the thing. You're like, oh yeah, that feels like what it is to me. That feels like me. Right? So that's how we can lighten up, by remembering and knowing that where I go, I take life with me. And what kind of life do I want? Well, let me take that attitude. Let me embody that attitude. But to embody it, you've got to give it life, right? Which means if you're giving it life, you're giving it yourself. Listen, I trust that this makes some semblance of sense to you. But the only way to know it is to test yourself. See if you can do it. Because that's what I got to do. I got to see, wait, can I feel security? What does security feel like? Okay, peace of mind. What does peace of mind feel like? And you infuse it with you. You say, yeah, that's peace of mind. And you take it with you. So wherever you are, there too is peace of mind. Because you're taking it with you. So now you see the importance of acknowledging your feelings. You can, listen, you can pretend you don't have those feelings all you want. But you're giving life to the feelings. So if you're giving life to the feelings, you can run, honey, but you can't hide. Because listen, you are where you take yourself. So what? Take a new attitude with you. Right? Let us welcome everyone, shall we? Hey, Miss T-Versation. It is so good to see you here, beautiful. It is truly good to see you here on YouTube. And for the others who've not made themselves known in the chat on YouTube and Facebook, I see y'all. I see you. Hello, Hilarion. It's symmetric. Big Shay is in the house. Big Shay. Is it Shay or Shy? I think it's Shy. But Big Shy is in the house. Listen, you better hope I'm right. Or that's what we're going to call you. You're here on Twitter. Listen, it is beautiful to see you. It truly is. Who's here on fan base this lovely day? Happy is in the house. Hey, CM. Shea Butter is in the house. Tajane is in the house. Listen, can I just say it again for good? Tajane. I'm sorry. Yes, how can I not? I just love saying it. It just rolls off the tongue like just the sweetest of, I don't know, mangoes maybe. Anyway, I digress. Hello, Malik. I see you here on Fanbase today. You found me, did you? Listen, let me click on there. I'm following you. um, the budget chick. Well, hello, beautiful. I have never said your name before. Welcome to the space. It's good to have you. Hey, Moon and Duck. I see you, Miss McQueen. Flo Smiles. The Oracle Treehouse. Miss Fawn, I see you all here today. Ali was here, I'm sure. She's here, but pop back out. Okay. Malik, you're so cute. He says, "Thank God I found you again here." And here's the light. Happy says, same with enjoying experiences. We spend so much time taking pictures and video instead of enjoying and living in the moment. Do you know why? Because we monetize everything. That's why. That's why we don't know how to enjoy. We don't know how to live anymore because we're trying to make money off of everything. Miss McQueen. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Well, I do my best because this is how, like, really, that's what the lecture did to me last night. That's what the lecture did to me last night when he said, okay, oh, I can't do it right now because if I do it, it'll mess up the stream on YouTube. But he said, God perfected his love in us. And love is not an attribute. Love is not the cause of God. Because remember, that's what attribute means, to be the cause of something. Love is not the attribute. Love is not the cause of God. There is only one cause, and that is God itself. So if God is the cause, well, then love is God. God is love. So then if God is love and God is in me, then I am. So if I am love, well, then I have to be everything else. Out of love comes security. And that's why I said today, we don't have to chase things. When you hear in scripture to call those things that are not as though they were, they become. Why? Because you are life. And whatever you call, you give yourself to it. That's one of my favorite scriptures, Miss Positive. And I say that all the time. I try to get people to understand that because we can speak things into existence, just like God spoke the world into existence. And we are, I am. Exactly. I'm glad you said that, Miss Fawn, because that's exactly what he did. When he spoke, this is why John 1 makes sense now. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was what? With God? Do you know why the Word was God? Because God and the Word are one. You understand? In the beginning was the Word, but there was nothing before. Remember, the Word is not an attribute. The Word is not the cause. God is the cause of the Word. So if God is the cause of the Word, God is the Word. And that's how come the Word is with God. Because Wherever God is where his word is. So in the beginning was the word, and the word was God, and the word was with God, because that's all there is, God. But you see, we don't think about that. We're looking for a word, but the word is God. Sweet Jesus, give us strength today. I feel like I can grasp something. I don't have the words to tell you, but I know what I feel within. So the next time you're out here in this world talking about you looking for security, I hope you have a pocket compact mirror with you, so you can pop it open and look in. Oh, look, there it is. I found security. Yourself. And because you are security itself, wherever you are must be secure. Whether it would be safe, whether it would be well funded, whether it would be happy, that all of those things come out of. Because remember, you got to see the form to know what the formless is. That's why we have bodies, but we have taken it for granted because we didn't know any better. We are here thinking we are these bodies. No, you are the life inside the body, and the life inside the body is God itself. So we're going to have to get past the stigma of the word God, because it has been tainted by myriads of interpretations. But now you're not looking for God on the outside. And that's how you'll remove the stigma. Because when you look in the mirror and you see that God is looking right back at you through your eyes, this is why when you do the mirror exercise, it's sometimes scary. Because, yeah, you're looking in the mirror and you can see yourself looking at your body. You can see your what? Yourself looking at your body. But are the self and the body not one? But you see, we've taken it for granted because that's what we were conditioned to do. So the next time you want to go out there and choke a bitch, don't, don't. And then talk about how could God let it happen? Because we forgot what we are. Many things can change in the world if we would remember what we are, who we are. That's the key right there. You see, we've separated ourselves from God. You know why, though? I think it was easier to do that because then it is easier to justify what we do. It is far easier to justify what we do when you separate yourself from God and say, well, God did it. Well, it wasn't me. What are we, shaggy now? It wasn't me, right? Yes, it is. See, that's what we've done to make it easier for ourselves to bear. How else could we do such heinous things without batting an eye to each other? Because we've forgotten. But the moment you remember, you will stop doing such heinous things to one another. Listen, this is just an observation, y'all. It's just an observation. And really and truly. So today, let's Tajane, indeed. Good thing is I refilled all my hearts last night. So I can give hearts today. You know, this is true. She's saying we have to stop trying to create separation between us and the Most High. The Most High is your higher self. Yes, you. Exactly. And as much as we try to separate it, this is why it is an illusion of separation. Because one cannot separate God from themselves. Because God is the self. So it's when you start putting it into perspective, yeah? Now you look and you go out there and say, well, I need a job. Okay. You need a job. Well, then, what kind of job are you going to give yourself? You see, God was very clear. I'm talking about when we read Genesis now. He said, let there be light. He said, let there be birds of the air, fish of the sea, beasts of the earth, right? He was pretty specific. He said what he wanted. So you and I now, because we also hear be imitators of Christ, right? We hear that in the scripture all the time. So if God was specific in saying what he was putting here for an experience, well, then you and I have to be specific about what we say we want to experience. Why? Because the word does not return void. Why does it not return void? Because he is whatever he says he is. So that means you are whatever you say you are, so it can't be void. So it doesn't matter what the job is. Sit down and let's pull a delight. Let's embody delight today and write things down. You see, when you write it down, you keep it in the forefront. So you can keep your focus and attention on where you're putting things. So that what? You're not easily led astray by the exterior. This is why when you recognize that people are in a state, a mental mood, a mental attitude, this is why you can forgive them. Because they've forgotten. They don't know who they are. They think they're that state they're in, but they're not. But you know they're not in that. You know they're not that state. You know that you're looking at God. Not a piece of God. You're looking at all of God. So if you're looking at all of God, you can talk to yourself, can't you? In the form of another. You can talk to God in the form of another. Because that's who you're talking to anyway. So when you whisper, I see you, rise from that. See? Now you don't have to choke anybody out. Now you don't have to cuss anybody out. Because you recognize. And do you know what you're doing from there? When you recognize that they're in a state and you can elevate them from that state, you know what you're doing? Oh, dear Lord. You're walking in a state of what? Peace. You're walking in a state of security. Well, clearly, because you're not choking anybody out, well, that would be a state of violence, wouldn't it? And you will find that the state of violence begins to leave you. Why? Because you're walking in a state of what you are, which is what? Love. Now you know what love is, don't you? Love is me. You say it to yourself, love is me. But how else would you say it? Love is me. I am love. You see, I hope, you know what? We don't hope. We know. I trust today that you feel it. You might not be able to put it into words, but I know you can feel it because I feel it. I know what this is doing to me today. So, as you hear the bowl and possible bird song, Because I'm going to check on him. Make sure he all right. My baby. When you hear the bowl today, you see that sigh of relief, that feeling of relief. As you are there, wherever you are, a nice big sigh, because it's the exhale, you know. You just, because it is in that exhale that you accept that you are life itself. Yeah. So when you come to that understanding, that comprehension, you're just like, holy macaroni, really? It takes you back to the good witch. Is it Glenda? She goes, it's been in you all along. This is why Neville Goddard can say there is no fiction. Where else would it be? It can only ever be in you, because you're life itself. Anyway, yes, looking at God in all his glory, Miss Fawn. Indeed. So now you see how there's only beauty? There's only beauty. It is the forgetfulness that brings about the ugly. It is only distorted. It is only a distorted view of beauty. But the moment you remember, then everything becomes beautiful again. Does that mean it was ever ugly? No. It wasn't ever ugly. It was only ever beautiful. Whew, let me get the bowl. Because y'all gonna get me all fired up in here this morning. Sun's not even out yet. It's still raining. Listen, there's little tiny, you know those berries that only the birds can eat? I can see the droplets of water just hanging on the bottom of the berry. It is absolutely beautiful. That's all I can. You see the leaves, the water on the tip of the leaves, and just hanging on the base of the berry. It is absolutely beautiful. Like, truly it is. I'm glad I got to see that this morning. just you seeing it. Remember what William Blake said? You can see God. If you see God in the leaves, it's not just a leaf you're looking at. It's not just water you're looking at. It's not just the berry you're looking at. You're looking at God itself. Because God is everywhere. God is in all. Remember, the all is in all. So when you see it again for the first time. Whew. Anywho, let me get the bowl. I locked my screen. Here, let me unlock it. There you go. Whew. So the next time you say I love you, it'll make more sense. Right? The next time you say I love you. Well, Barney had it right. I love you. You love me. Why? Because there's only you. Loving the self. It looks like the other, but when you love the other, you love the self. This is why scripture tells you when you do it to the least, you've done it to me. Why? Because the all is in all. See? Even the all is in.
The all is in all, let me tell you. And he's telling you the all is in him too. Mm. Leave it up to my rooster to do that. I hear you, big boy. I hear you. The bowl and bird song. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2. Uh, don't leave me hanging, babes. Well, I guess I'll say 1 because he's not. Um, Bubakar, Big Shy. It's Symmetric. Hey, Joseph. Hilarion. Thank you all for being here on Twitter. Some of you will have to catch the replay. But it is always a pleasure and a privilege to see you every day. Thank you for being here on Twitter. Much love to you. Much love to you all. And I'll see you tonight, 10:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't remember the title of the lecture. I don't. Also, there is a pop-up workshop, a Flourish workshop on Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, I'm sure I posted it on my Twitter timeline. I posted it on YouTube, and I posted it on Fanbase. So I think no, I didn't post it on Insta. Yes, I did. I posted it on Insta as well, and I also posted it on TikTok. So wherever you are gonna look, see if you can find it. It's there because I did. I'll do it again today. But you want to come to that workshop, that pop-up workshop, where we can implement more because there'll be lots of. It's interactive because it's a Q&A. It's interactive. There's lots of hands-on meditation. Everything you can think of is in that workshop. So it is $75 if you want to come by yourself, but I recommend bringing a friend. If you bring a friend, it is 35 for you and it's 35 for them. See, the more the merrier, right? So slide into my DMs if you have questions about that workshop on Saturday. Yeah, let me know if you want to participate in that because I'm looking forward to it because I learn so much every time I go. Yes. And of course, the replay will always be available because you will have the private link from it because it will be streamed on YouTube. And so once you sign up for it, I will send you the link. And I do my best to send the link 24 hours because then it doesn't get buried in your emails. But if you have questions, just message me. I'm always available. Okay. And I will respond. And oh, you can now find me on Owl. Who I am on Owl. I'm still trying to maneuver my way around that app because some people they want to talk to you, and so Owl makes that possible. You know, like if you didn't want to share your phone number or something like that, and Owl makes that possible. Uh, yeah, they do it in 10-minute increments. Anyway, I think that's enough announcements for today. Yes, but as I said, if you have any questions or comments or concerns, slide into my DMs and let me know, and I will respond. Yes? All right. I'll see you tonight if you want to fall asleep with us as we read the bedtime lecture. And listen, last night had its own set of theatrics. It was thunder and it was lightning. Whoo! Mm, mm, mm. It was a show, let me tell you. Had me all scared and things. But it was like one of those things where you just watch it, you're like, oh my God, that's so awesome. Anyway, I digress. So I'll see you tonight if you want to fall asleep with us. Much love to you.
Thunderstorms put an added touch to it. I mean, because it made me feel like it was theatrical.
Leave it up to me, right? Here's Miss Theater herself. Yeah, like it was lit. Like I was so pleased with that storm last night in the fact that it was just the crack of the thunder. I used to watch those because I grew up in Barbados, so we had hurricanes, right? And I'd watch them in the veranda. I'd be on the wall in the veranda, just sitting there, and my grandmother would say, "Stop looking at that lightning before it blinds you," because that's what would happen. It would dazzle you. You couldn't see for a few moments, and but it was so quiet. There was nobody on the street anywhere. It was so quiet you could hear the lightning. Oh yes, those. Oh, I love a good thunderstorm. Yeah, and the thunder when it cracked. We had this we call it a credenza, I don't know, but it had like all my grandmother's china in it and the glasses, because we didn't use those things every day. When family came from out of country, we'd use those things, right? But they'd tinkle every time the thunder would crack, and it was just absolutely awesome to just behold. And so took me back to my childhood. But anywho, I do prattle on. I'll see you tonight. Yes, fan base. We end with us, so I'm coming for you. So Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, fan base. I love each and every one of you. Now you know what that means, because I love me. Right? So, and love is not an attribute. Love is. I am love. Peace out. Twitter is closed. YouTube and Facebook. I love you.